A huge update is heading to the Wasteland, and it's shaking things up in a big way. We're getting a final perk overhaul, a final weapon rebalance, major changes to the VATS system, and surprisingly, I haven't seen enough people talking about this. That's why I'm making this video, and unfortunately, a major nerf is coming to everyone's two favorite XP grinds. That's right, both Westtech and the Raid are getting hit, and it could seriously impact how much XP you're pulling in from these two farms. Now, let's break it down. What's getting nerfed, what still works, and what you need to be doing instead to keep that sweet XP rolling in for the next season. So first up, I wanted to talk about Westtech. What's going on? What's changing? How could they possibly nerf Westtech? Are they lowering the spawn rates of the super mutants? Nope, they're simply changing how all grenades will work, including the Westtech blasting nuke nades, and it's getting nerfed in a few different ways, unfortunately. So first up, as you could see, Bethesda has stated that nuke nades specifically will have an increased crafting cost. No idea what that will be, but I'm sure they won't make it too difficult, probably just increase the amount of frag grenades needed, but we know that the crafting cost of nuke nades is increasing, so it's going to be harder to make them in bulk. You know, make 200 of them. It's going to take a little bit more time to prepare those resources, but you may not want to even make any more nuke nades after this second change, and more important change, Bethesda is making a huge change to the line of sight explosives. Now, what that means is they stated nuke nades no longer ignores the line of sight. A lot of people are really confused about this specific change, and again, a lot of people haven't really noted it, but it is a huge nerf to farming Westtech, as we all know and love it. Basically, to sum it up, you can no longer chuck a grenade in the room and run away. You have to be looking at the grenade, aka you have to be in the grenade line of sight. So you can't just chuck a grenade, run around, boom, they're going to blow up, chuck another grenade, they're going to blow up, and that's not how it works anymore. If a wall is in the way, it will mess up the entire thing and most likely kill no enemies. It may still damage some enemies, but it's probably not going to kill them. The explosive whole entire thing of it is that they're trying to kind of just literally get rid of this one XP grind. That's basically it. There's no other point of them putting this in there. It doesn't make any sense. So if you wanted to use the Westtech nuke nade strat, you would have to chuck the grenade and not break the line of sight for it to be as effective as it previously was, which it would kill you because the blast radius, and you'd be running around as bloodied because you obviously want the most damage. So unfortunately, this strategy seems to be dead in the water as of right now. Don't worry though, I will be talking about other ways to run Westtech without any issues. So Westtech isn't dead, just this one strat is specifically dead. RIP the nuke nades. You ran things for about 2 years. You made the seasons really easy. But again, there is a actually much easier way to run Westtech from any level, and you don't have to stock up on a bunch of nuke nades, but we're going to talk about that into a second. Moving on to the raids. Now, moving on to the raids, like I mentioned, the whole VATS system is getting a pretty big overhaul in what Bethesda is calling the biggest update to come to Fallout 76, and part of that overhaul is no longer being able to target parts of the body that you can't actually see. So as you can see here, Bethesda stated players can no longer target body parts on the opposite side of enemies, such as the ultra-genetic shield generator through the front of the EN06 Guardian, which is the first boss in the raid. I love the fact that they specifically listed the Guardian as the example, because that farm is the only reason this change is happening. Same thing with the nuke nades for Westtech. It doesn't make any sense that you have to stare at the nuke nade for it to be as effective as it was before. You're basically just making the nuke nade completely obsolete along with all other grenades, which no one uses in the game anyway, so you're basically just getting rid of the one grenade that people used. Doesn't make any sense, and you'll never be able to use the nuke nade indoors anymore. But basically, in terms of this change for the raid and everything, not being able to target body parts on the opposite side of an enemy, all this means is that you'll no longer be able to target the shield generator, for example, when the Guardian is facing you, so you can't break it with the Dragon or the Pepper Shaker from the front while reflecting damage. You'll have to actually target the shield generator while the Guardian's back is turned away from you, which requires a second player. But of course, just like the Westtech, this whole entire farm of farming the first raid boss over and over and over again isn't dead, just the dragon and pepper shaker strategy. So obviously I'm going to go over another strategy that you could easily do at any level to complete the raid super easily and get all of that sweet XP. You're just going to have to prepare a little bit more. Instead of a dragon, you're just going to have to get a flamer, and I'll go over it in a second. But this change kind of sucks. I'm sure it's going to be I'm sure they're going to implement things like this in the future where, there's going to be like a shield or a weak spot on the target's back, and you're going to have to, have a couple players in there distracted while you shoot it and everything like that. So I understand why they did it. However, though, it seems like right now they're just targeting the best XP farms, and they're trying to nerf it a little bit so people will play the game for longer because they're not able to farm XP as quickly, so they have to play longer to complete the newer seasons. We all get it. But it is kind of annoying that they're specifically going after these two XP farms because it's the ones that people use. Just choose one. Just if you want to nerf the raid farming, it seems like they've been wanting to do that for a while. Just nerf it. Just entirely nerf it. Leave Westec alone. Why go after both of them? I don't understand it. But like I said, I want to talk about the best ways to farm these spots now because they're still the best XP farms in the entire game. You just have to switch up your strategy a little bit. So like I said, these actual places aren't dead, just one specific method of farming for both of these XP farming spots. There are still super efficient ways to farm at these spots, just like before. So I'm going to go over kind of my favorite way that I'm going to be farming both these spots without nuke-nades or without the dragon/pepper shaker method of farming the first raid boss. So again, first up, I wanted to talk about Westec because I still think it's the best and most used XP farm for all levels, not just endgame characters like the raid. However, the method that I'm going to show you kind of for the raid, you can do it at any level. You just need some specific gear, which again, you can get at any level. So now the best way to farm Westec is literally just killing every single mob with an auto axe or chainsaw with the intelligence effect to further increase XP gain. Why an auto axe or chainsaw? Simply because you won't have to use ammo and these weapons shred no matter the level you use them at. If you're a lower level and get a vampire's auto axe or chainsaw, I know the auto axe is obviously difficult to get as a lower level. So if you get a vampire's chainsaw with the intelligence effect, you can still get a bunch of extra XP, plus you'll never die due to the healing off of the vampire's effect. So now, instead of throwing the nuke-nade, you're simply just going to have to run in and kill every single mob with yourself. I still can clear Westec in literally 2 minutes with my melee build on my ghoul here, maybe 2.5 minutes if I miss a turn or if an enemy spawns a different spot or something like that, but it doesn't really take too long. You could also run Westec with a fixer or gat plasma if you have enough ammo to run it, or if you don't have a melee build. I know a lot of people just run bloodied fixer builds with the intelligence effect through Westec, and you're just going to be able to clear the whole area in basically 2 minutes flat again. It's not really that difficult, and it doesn't really shorten your time or increase your time from the nuke-nade strategy too much, again, because you do have to go out there and prep to get all the crafting materials to make the nuke-nades. This one, you don't really need that. You just need to have certain weapons, and then you run in there. So basically, just run Westec with a weapon, like a melee weapon, an auto axe chainsaw with the intelligence effect, run it with a fixer or a Gatman plasma with the intelligence effect instead of grenades. Not too hard to accomplish, still really, really doable. Again, they just nerfed the nuke-nade method. You still can run this thing a minute, 2 minutes flat with either a fixer, a Gatling plasma, or some type of auto melee weapon. It's not too difficult, and all of my high level players who've been farming this for a while, you probably run it like this anyway, because you don't want to sit there and get all the crafting materials to make 215 nuke-nades. So simply just run it with a melee weapon, save yourself ammo, save yourself time on crafting, on getting the crafting materials, and still run Westec and get all of that sweet XP. Now, moving on to those sweet raids. So, there are a few ways that you could run them super fast still, regardless of the whole entire dragon/pepper shaker method kind of getting patched. Firstly, I have to state the obvious. If you want to complete the raid super fast, at least the Guardian fight, you could always run it with 2 or more people, but that requires friends, or at least being a somewhat sociable person in the Wasteland. So I know that's not for everyone, but you can always run it with a duo or with a couple of other people, just so then you could actually target the shield generator. Or if you want to farm it solo, the easiest way of farming it solo, or at least the way of farming the Guardian solo that I've been liking lately, is just by reflecting damage to break his shield and Stimpack Samming so you don't die. Now, once the shield is broken from reflecting damage, you just spray down the Guardian with a Gatling Plasma or a Flamer with Onslaught. Boom, you just killed the Guardian in 2 minutes or less. And again, there are other ways of taking down the Guardian really fast, like without using this method either. There's a bunch of melee methods where you put your power armor up on the thing and then you go and you target the backside and everything like that and you teleport to it. So I completely understand there are a bunch of ways. You know, not every method is for every single person, but again, you literally could just sit in front of the Guardian on this little ledge thing as you see in the video and just spam Stimpaks until, or with the reflect thing on, or with the reflect perk card on, and your luck as high as it could be, and you just spam Stimpaks until the Guardian shield is broken. Then just spray down the Guardian with whatever high damaging weapon you have, like a Flamer, an Enclave Flamer, or simply just a Gatling Plasma, and boom, the Guardian is dead in 2 minutes, and it costs you 35 Stimpaks. Not really the worst trade-off in the entire world, but you could still farm Westack really easily, and you could still farm the raids really easily. They just, again, nerfed the Nuke-nades, and then they nerfed the whole entire shoot the Guardian shield while he is still targeting you with the dragon. So if you still want to go out there and do that, you have a little bit before the update comes out. I suggest you go out there and farm the Guardian as much as you possibly can now, if you have been using that method for the past couple of months. One last thing that I wanted to add before we end the video. Now, this has nothing to do with gaining XP. I did just also wanted to mention this crucial piece of info that no one really seems to be talking about or freaking out, but it seems Ultracite ammo is now getting a nerf and a buff at the same time, so it's getting a much needed damage buff, which is really nice. However, at the same time, it's also getting a huge nerf in terms of crafting and drop rates, so it now will be much harder to craft, but they will try and level it out with more opportunities to get the crafting materials needed for the Ultracite ammo. But now it will not drop from enemies if you kill them with a Ultracite weapon. If you kill a mob with an Ultracite weapon, it will just drop a bunch of random non-Ultracite ammo, which is a huge nerf and a giant buzzkill. So it's going to take a lot more to get Ultracite ammo. You can't get it from drops, you can't farm daily ops, you can't farm expeditions. The only way to get Ultracite ammo now after this update comes out will be to craft it, and they are changing the crafting recipes, making it harder to craft, but giving you more opportunities to get the crafting materials. So it's not going to be the worst thing in the world. But Ultracite ammo, like I said, will now do much more damage, but can only be crafted, and now will be twice as hard to craft. But the update isn't live yet, so you could stock up on the Ultracite ammo of your choice, which I suggest you do. If you're seeing this before the update comes out, you have plenty of time to stock up on Ultracite ammo that you could stash for a while until there's a new Ultracite ammo farming method unlocked within a few days of this new update coming out. But if you play your cards right now and craft, let's say, 100,000 rounds of Ultracite ammo for your fixer, you could benefit massively from that damage boost without ever really having to craft or worry about getting more Ultracite ammo for whatever weapon you choose. Well, there we have it, ladies and gents of the Wasteland. We've made it to the end of another Fallout 76 video. I hope you found it useful. Make sure you go out and get a good Westech farming weapon or a good raid farming strategy that doesn't involve the same strategy as the Dragon and Pepper Shaker shield methods. And finally, make sure you go out there and stock up on that Ultracite ammo before it's too late so you can maximize the damage boost with the new change coming to Ultracite ammo. Now, what's your favorite way to farm XP? Mine obviously is Westech. I know a lot of people like the raids. To each his own. I think they're all 100% valid, but let me know in the comments what's your favorite method of farming XP. And as always, I appreciate you motherfuckers for watching this motherfucking video. I will see you in the Wasteland when this new giant update drops, hopefully still farming as much XP as we were able to before.